Today on the vlog, I'm visiting the amazing Olson seed facility. I've never been here before. The 3 years I've been an influencer for them on a different social media app. This place is incredible, and my friend Matt gave us a full tour, so let's go check it out. My mad camera skills are not doing this view justice at all, but these are some of the greenhouses, and look at the mountains. It's beautiful. Let me flip you around the other direction. More greenhouses. And this, I hope, is the seed house. We'll see if I got it right. I just saw someone going in this door. There's Matt. I found him. Thank goodness, because I got lost on the way here. Oh well. So here in the seed house is where they, shocker, plant the seeds. So some of the plants that they grow come from cuttings or tissue culture, and some come in the form of seeds. And so today, the greenhouse is starting a bunch of seeds and this crazy fun machine. This machine is actually 25 years old and just recently got refurbished. I was actually really surprised that the technology has been around for that long because I quite honestly thought this was a new thing and had no idea that this machine was as old as it is. So, what Matt is pointing out is the tiny little dots here of suction grabbing with air each of the teeny seeds into, there's little holes drilled. You can see the seeds are so uniform. And something they really focus on in greenhouse production is uniformity of growing the seeds and the plants because they need everything to be incredibly uniform. So this just helps grab exactly one seed and exactly one hole, and it just rolls through them so quickly. Now these ones are pelleted because they are coated in yellow, and Matt told me that the ones that are black are not pelleted. And pelleting just kind of helps it grab the seed a little bit better and plant them more uniformly. So the little area right here where he's pointing, the vacuum also helps blow the seed out of the little metal cylinder and into the tray. So it sucks them up and then it blows them out into the little tray and gets them in the perfect spot for planting. Now, Matt was again explaining that this is 25 years old and they just had new electronics put into it to refresh the machine. And then over here on the left, you'll see this is the dibbler, and that is making a perfect little channel to catch exactly the right amount of water for what the seeds need to germinate uniformly, incredibly uniformly. And it just keeps that humidity up by having the water in the perfect spot. It also helps keep everything get centered when it's being planted. Now, this machine's not running, but this is the vermiculite. And so some of the seeds that need a fine coating or top dressing of vermiculite, this vibrates and just lays the vermiculite perfectly on top of each tray of seeds before it heads through the water. The water has to be very precise, and they actually weigh the trays to make sure that they all have the exact same amount of water for germination. Then Matt brought me over to show me this other machine, and this one is called the 288. And the reason it's called the 288 is because this machine plants trays of 288 seeds at a time. Now, while we were standing here watching this, Matt timed it with his watch, and it takes only 5 seconds for this machine to plant 288 seeds, which absolutely blows my mind. And I think the person here on the side is just quality control and making sure that every single cell has a seed in it. But you can see that cylinder just spinning and how fast the seeds are flying by. That's crazy. These ones are pelleted as well. You can see they have a white coating on them. You can see on the left, there is a dibble maker roller. And this seed mix, Matt was explaining to me, is an incredibly finely sifted seed mix, perfectly balanced for starting seedlings. He even mentioned that it has a very fine perlite mixed in with this, which you can kind of see the flecks of it in there, but I never thought about the fact that you might want your perlite to be even more fine when starting it in these tiny little trays. And if you've been around here any length of time at all, you may know that I am totally addicted to petunias. And I was screaming with joy when I saw these. And Matt explained that these ones were getting grown to go to Arizona in hanging baskets. And they're grown in 72 cell trays Now, this bigger one is going into a hanging basket. So they grow them a little bit bigger. This is 2 or 3 weeks older than this little small one. The small one gets grown for a 6-pack. And the bud is already set on these larger ones for the hanging baskets so that they can deliver them with nice compact growth and a ton of color and just looking beautiful. Oh yeah, it's nice and humid in here.
So this is one of the germination chambers. We actually have lights in this chamber. A petunia, for example, is a crop that has to have light for germination.
Yay.
So we have LED lights. They're not really grow lights per se. It's just enough light to help the plants to germinate.
Interesting.
This allows us to be a lot more efficient. When you're growing millions and millions of petunia seeds, for example, a wave petunia, you're spending 8 to 10 cents a seed. So when you...
I spend 50 cents.
Yeah, 50 cents. When you lose 3 or 4% germination over the period of 500,000 seeds, that money adds up really fast.
Really quickly.
And so we put these in to be more efficient and to get a higher yield with our crop.
And so that's what helps. The lights help with that, or just having them in this chamber?
The lights allow us to leave them in the chamber for longer.
I see.
So we can actually get them to germinate. If not, we would have to germinate out on our benches, and we'll lose 2 to 3% once we take them out of this humid environment. The humidity in here is about 93%.
Ah, I love it.
So it's very humid. We also have fans that move the air around. This room is all climate controlled.
Yeah.
We will run this anywhere between 62 to 78, depending on the crop and its requirements for germination.
That's so cool. And then these ones are kind of popping up over here.
Yes, and so because we have the lights in here, the plants don't want to stretch nearly as much. If these were in the dark, so this is a seed. Cannas are very expensive. They can run anywhere from 50 cents to $1 a seed. So this just allows us to get a lot better germination and a lot faster by having them in a chamber like this.
And consistent.
Yes.
Very consistent. Now, are these the petunias that have the vermiculite on them?
Yeah, so these are lobelia. Lobelia is something that can be covered. So there's just that also helps with humidity, helps when the seed starts to crack and the hot hypocotyl starts to emerge from the seed. It helps it to stay a lot shorter.
Oh, no way. Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know it helped stay. I just started putting vermiculite on my seeds at home to help with the humidity because I soil block. Yeah. And they dry out really fast because I don't have 97, what was it, 96%?
Yeah. But you have to be very careful because if you put vermiculite on petunias, they won't germinate.
Okay, good to know.
Because they require light. So we would put vermiculite on everything if we could get away with it because it helps with the humidity at the seed level. So this
is beautiful.
These greenhouses. So this is our plug facility. So this facility is very specialized to grow young plants. The way that everything's up on benches, everything's designed for efficiency. We have heated tables, so there's heat coming up from the floor to help to incubate the seeds, to help them germinate faster and help them to establish roots. We also have LED grow lights in this facility, so even on the cloudiest day, we can have optimal growing conditions. We can dim the lights for energy savings if we want to do that. This time of the year, we also day length extend, so almost all of the plugs benefit for longer days. And so we run the lights from dusk until 10:30 at night. There's a few crops that don't like lights. And the lights are on in the next building. We'll go over there. But it allows us to really produce a high quality young plant. Our customer for this facility is in-house. It's what goes to our production facility. So we try to grow to the highest standards to keep our costs down.
That's smart. And it's so uniform. Everything's really uniform. That's so impressive.
So this greenhouse is ran warmer. So this has our warm crops in it. So canna is a warm crop. We have pentas, vinca, celosia. This is all crops that really shouldn't be grown below 70 72 degrees at night. We run this building at 76 degrees at night, so it has a warmer, more arid environment.
Even at night.
Our other greenhouses will run about 68 degrees to 62 at night, which if we did that, these plants would not be uniform. We would add weeks onto the production time. Really? So that's just that little bit of flexibility with our facilities allows us to do that. And so we have 6 different compartments in our plug facility that allows us to be able to manage each of the crops different. And some of the crops will start them off warmer, and as it gets closer to shipping or to transplanting, we will go ahead and start to cool the plugs down to acclimate them to be ready to go into a different environment that we finish, because we finish our plants cooler than we would
That's interesting.
in this area.
That's fascinating. It's interesting to hear like how the different temperatures can speed up and slow down
Yes.
the growth of the plants. So I'm messing up at home. I don't have my temperatures very consistent. My temperature in my office where I grow my plants is like 85 when I'm in there during the day and probably like 60 at night.
Yes.
My plants are all stressed.
So the plants in here get fertilized every time they're watered. So we have different fertilizer lines ran through the greenhouse. We can do that on each one of the booms.
That's cool. That's really cool. And iron.
We actually try not to do too much iron because we have that incorporated into a special plug mix that we use that has a higher percentage of iron, so we don't have to do the iron.
You don't have to add it.
Piece.
Oh,
Yes.
that's nice.
And we also acidify the water in this facility.
Because it's alkaline and...
Yes, it's very alkaline, so we acidify the water. Acidity is what makes plants iron efficient.
Okay.
So the lower the pH, the more readily iron is available to plants. So in alkaline soil, you have a high pH, so something like a petunia
Yeah.
or a calibrachoa, a pansy, we call them high iron-loving crops. It's just they're not very efficient on using iron. So when you get to a higher pH, the iron isn't readily available to the plant, and so we have to supplement and give them extra in order to do that.
Yeah. Yep, that's my problem. I'm like, I gotta get the iron out again. What's the one over there that's like kind of got the reddish leaf on the bottom?
So that's a celosia.
That's a celosia, okay.
I would imagine that's dragon's breath. It looks really green right now, but as it gets more mature, it'll get that dark red foliage with the dark red flower. And so both of those, so you have the dragon's breath, and then you just have a typical, that's probably either fresh look or maybe flama, one of the green leaf celosias.
That's really cool. Look at these tiny guys. How long do they stay in here? I know it'll vary by plant.
So it depends. So this marigold is in here for 5 weeks. So it's 35 days from when it's sown to be ready. The celosia, I believe it's 7 weeks. Yeah, celosia is 6 weeks is when we have this variety of celosia. So all of our trays, we have labels on them that tell us what it is. This is, if it has an A, it actually is going to our Arizona facility. And then it tells us that it was sown on week 2, and then it's supposed to be ready on week 8.
Oh, interesting.
So everything that we do is timed.
Yeah.
So we know when it goes out, when it should be ready, and then for transplant.
Wow.
Bigger chambers are 20,000 square feet.
So the small chamber is 10,000?
Yes.
Wow. So there's 2 small and 4 big. Wow. 10,000 square feet.
Yeah, so this facility is 100,000 square feet.
It's 100,000 square feet. In this, you can see back behind. There we go. Ooh.
That right?
So this is 10,000 square feet.
This one's 20,000.
This was 20,000, just this room.
Yes.
Why does that blow my mind? I don't know why, but it does.
So you can see the grow lights are on right now.
Yeah.
So it's giving us the supplemental light.
Until 10:30?
10:30. And then if it's a cloudy day, they'll automatically turn on. You kind of see that little sensor right there. That's a light sensor that measures light, and we call it the daily light integral. So we target 8. So if we cannot reach 8 during the normal day, then the lights will turn on, and they can give us an additional 4 to 5 of the DLI.
Okay.
The measurement
that
to
you
the
need.
lights that we need, the plugs need.
Wow. And they're so much farther away than I thought. Are they just super powerful?
Yes,
Is that why they're so...
powerful,
Because
yes.
mine are like an inch. I mean, not an inch. They're like 4 inches away, but
Yes, these
those
are
are...
all designed that the light is the same all the way across the entire house.
Okay.
So everything, all the light, other than maybe just the edges is a little bit dimmer, but everything probably 3 feet off the wall is the same light intensity through the whole greenhouse.
That's why we look so amazing in this room, because it's very well lit. It's very well lit. And it's just very evenly lit.
Yes.
We should be shooting videos in here.
So this is another form
Double
of...
scoop raspberry.
Yes. So this is another form of propagation that we do. This is done from tissue culture. So we actually, our employees call these cupcakes. But we get the plant, when we get the plantlet, that's all that we get. And they're very, very fragile. They've never actually breathed fresh air. They've always been grown in a petri dish. So we get them, and then we have to take really special care of them the first 7 to 14 days while the plant established. And I think there's some under the plastic over here. So we use plastic too for these to keep the humidity up.
Oh, that's nice. Those really do look like a cupcake.
Peat moss that has a glue binder in it, so it keeps its shape.
So that's a glue plug, okay.
Yeah, and this is what the tissue culture looks like when we get it.
Yeah.
This one actually didn't take, or it's just starting to take. It's starting to form a root. So our employees get them, they take them out of the petri dish, they just set them like that, and they close it, and then stick them in here. That's when they're real small.
Teeny tiny. Yeah, those are cool. And they're so uniform. I can't get over how uniform they are. That's impressive. Do they stay in that same tray the whole time they're in this?
Yeah, when they're in this facility,
they stay in this tray.
They stay in this tray.
Okay.
The reason that we start them in this tray is it's all about heat utilization and square footage. We would have to have our whole greenhouse tied up for an extra 8 to 12 weeks if we tried to direct sow these into a finished pack. And then you're always going to have loss. So we get between 85 and 100% germination, depending on the crop. You have 20,000 square feet of plants here. This might fill 10 acres of greenhouse. So it's just a economy of scale, and so that's why we start them off in the small plant.
So smart, so smart. I just asked Matt how many plants are in this facility. He said tens of millions. Tens of millions. Wow. More petunias, teeny ones.
So these are petunias, so these are just germinating. So we have to do these on the bench. So we were able to start to get them to crack in the chamber, and then we move them out to allow them to go. It's all about square footage, so you don't see aisleways. So these tables roll, and it doesn't take much to roll it. Natalie has her camera, I have her do it, but if you watch this whole,
here we go.
Whole thing will roll all the way down.
All the way down. You know I'm going to put this on a tripod and try it out.
Yeah. Or I can hold it for you.
Yeah, here we go. Gonna turn it around. Okay.
Okay.
Which one should I move?
Move this bench.
Okay.
And push it that way, or pull it that way.
Pull it that way?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see me? All right, here we go. What? Oh, it got stuck. I didn't go to the gym.
Natalie's little, so
it's stuck.
It doesn't. I'll give her a little bit of a push.
I don't want to break it, guys. I'm really strong. What? That's crazy.
So that allows us to utilize.
Because you just have basically one pathway.
Yes.
In this whole room, there's just the one path. Correct. So in all of these millions, there's, what is this, like 1.5 feet, 18 inches?
Yeah, it's 18, well, about 20 inches.
Yeah.
So we have one 20-inch aisle. These are 110 feet long by 42 feet wide.
110 feet long by 42 feet wide.
Yes.
Wow. I'm going to have to redeem myself and try that again. They really do roll so smoothly.
Yeah, usually what you have to do is you put your leg.
And then...
Yeah, if you'll just...
What he's saying is I got to put my back into it a little more.
And just lean into it. They roll really easy.
I'm just so worried I'm going to break something.
Oh, you won't break it in here.
I don't want to get kicked out. I'm wondering if I need to try some of these tiny little trays when I do mine in my...
Yep.
Because I do 2-inch soil blocks, and I felt like that was tiny, but maybe I need to try even some smaller.
Depends on how many you want to do. The 2-inch soil blocks probably work better for you.
Probably.
Because you can You have a
keep
little
them
bit
moist.
bigger, well, you have a bigger transplant when you put it in the finished container.
That's true.
You don't have a little
Yeah.
tiny plug in there that if you forget to water it
Yep.
at the right time, that it's not going to die.
Me forget to water? How would that happen? How would that happen? This is
Yes.
these big tubs.
So we mix big batches up, and then we have a ratio feeder. So there's a meter that goes through, tells how much water is going through, and then it injects so much fertilizer. And then we have a sensor.
They have these big tanks that have these adapters that will put the right amount of very, very low amount of acidity into the water to get the pH balanced and correct for the type of plants. And again, here in Utah, we have very alkaline water. So getting the water to the right levels is really, really important for all of the plants that they're growing here in the greenhouse.
This is my moment of redemption. I'm back, I have a tripod, we're gonna move this table. Or die trying, I better not die trying. We're gonna move it though. Okay, I gotta get, oh, there we go. Well, that one moves easily. It's a core workout. Okay, I think that's as far as it goes. Because I have about 20 inches of space right here. Let's go to the other end and move it back. Honestly, it's crazy how well they glide on the tracks. And then these are the heated ones. So I don't know if the heater's on right now, but that sounds pretty good to me. Okay, let's try it. I'm gonna move 1 million plants with, I would say the push of a button or the touch of a finger, but it's gonna take like my whole body strength. Ah. I have a strategy. There we go. I got it. Okay, Matt's a lot stronger than I am. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you subscribe. I'll be sharing more fun videos in the future. Lots of fun planty things, tips and tricks. Definitely more from the greenhouse because you know I'm going to be back as soon as they invite me again. You know I'll be back. We'll see you next time.